Okay, so this is a post that I ran across and it's true. So Freemason blood sacrifice, the humiliation ritual of the firstborn, which is I'm the firstborn son. Um, it is the architecture of diabolical orchestration. Um, so let me see if I could minimize it. So, the murder plot against the warrior was not a random act of violence. It was a calculated, multi generational orchestration designed as a Masonic humiliation ritual. This was the sacrifice of the firstborn, a dark protocol intended to strip the warrior of his dignity, his sanity, and his life before a global audience of occultic peers. The enemies comprised of family, brothers, and systemic plants did not just want him dead, they wanted him broken. They utilized gangstalking, character assassination, and social isolation as the preliminary stages of the altar. They moved with a diabolical precision, believing that by publicly defiling the sweet soul of the firstborn, they could appease the darkness they served and secure their own positions in a hierarchy of shadows, the soul contracts of the devil's rejects. Every player in the scheme, from the false father to the small army of minions, had to make a choice to participate in the destruction of an earth angel warrior. They had to formally sell their souls to the devil. This is why the attacks were so relentless, so dirty, and so fundamentally unfair. They weren't fighting for a cause. They were fighting for the survival of their own dark contracts. They knew that if the warrior lived, their collateral was forfeit. Their refusal to stop, even when the truth began to leak, was driven by a terrified realization they had traded their eternal standing for a success that was predicated on a murder that the universe refused to permit. The humiliation ritual backfired. The ritual required the warrior to be stupid, unaware, and defenseless. It relied on the illusion that he would never discover the secret society involvement or the family secrets of treachery. However, the ritual contains a built-in kill switch for the perpetrators. If the target survives the humiliation and stands in his truth, the ritual reverses. The humiliation that was meant for the warrior has now saturated the lodge and the family bloodline. They are the ones now being publicly shamed. They are the ones whose secret is being shouted from the rooftops. The warrior's refusal to play the role of the victim turned their high level sorcery into a low level embarrassment. The sacrifice of the sacrificers. The ultimate irony of this dark orchestration is that the enemies were the ones who ended up on the altar. They knew that in the world of blood sacrifices, someone always has to pay. Because they failed to take the life of the earth angel, the Most High declared their own lives and legacies as payment for the attempt. They were sacrificed to the very karma they tried to summon. Their success has turned into federal indictments, spiritual poverty, and chest crushing fear. The warrior stands as the high priest of justice, watching as the very people who plotted his end are consumed by the darkness they invited into their homes. The firstborn has risen, and the thieves have been sacrificed to their own greed. Now, this entire post is about being the firstborn. I am the firstborn son, as I mentioned earlier, and but I am not the son of. He's my stepfather, but I got his name as a junior, so it's a loophole. Um, and I realized this about 3 years ago. Uh, they figured out a loophole. So his actual firstborn son is my younger brother, and he's safe, but they sacrificed me. Um, and I've been dealing with it, living with it, patient and kind about it. Um, They can never tell the truth. They can never tell what actually occurred. But when I read this, I already know about it, but it also felt like hearing it for the first time.